So you're not a huge fan of Christian movies because they don't appeal to your generation. All your friends and family you talk to have a similar opinion. Our guest today decided to do something about it. What did he decide to do? Find out next, here on Faith on Film. Hello and welcome to Faith on Film. So glad you tuned in to today's show. I've got a great show for you today. My guest today, Florence, has a bachelor's in business administration and didn't start making movies until the age of 37. Which is kind of weird because he doesn't even look 37 now. As a new director, he's found it useful to have edited video for the past 12 years, mostly commercials and videos for his church. Chris has been married to his lovely wife, Alicia, for the past 16 years, and they have 3 kids. Florence, hello and welcome to Faith on Film.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you bet. So listen, I think we should get started from the very beginning here. We kind of want to know how you even got started into Christian films, or really into filmmaking in general. Pretty much just tell us your story.
I was raised in church. My father was a pastor, and so I've pretty much heard all of the cliches that go along with being raised in church and being a PK. Mm-hmm. As I've gotten older and had kids and everything, I've kind of saw this kind of vast difference between the stuff that Hollywood is creating versus Christianity, of course, beyond the obvious, which would be that there's nothing redeeming about most of the stories that are in Hollywood. And so I've been praying about it, just asking God, I'm like, why do I not like Christian films so much? I like the message. I like what's happening. I just don't like the way the stories are being told. And so I prayed about it, and God was just kind of like, well, why don't you make a movie? And I was just like, So at about the age of 37, I decided I never went to school for filmmaking, but I had, all the gear that was necessary to do it because of my marketing company that I own. And so I just started deciding to make films. God connected me with a DP, director of photography, who has a lot more experience than I do. And so he was instrumental in really helping to keep me, kind of teach me. But I'd already been learning on my own before that. And so I decided to make a thriller. And I was like, I haven't really seen many Christian thrillers. I know that they exist, but I decided that's what I wanted to do. So we made a 12-minute proof of concept thriller. That main reason for that was supposed to be a proof of concept for a feature film that never got off the ground. And just finished my first feature recently, which is a different one, which is actually a sci-fi. So.
Oh, all right. I was part of a panel once at a film festival, the International Christian Film Festival in Orlando, and the title of it was "Why I Hate Christian Films." And at first I kind of thought, well, wait a minute, I can't do that because first of all, I love Christian films. But I understood, the concept is that there actually is a lot of people that, even Christians, that just won't watch Christian films because they just feel that they're not. I'm not even sure what it is. They're not realistic. They're not edgy enough. Is that kind of where you think we're headed? I mean, should we be making films that are a little bit edgier and maybe darker? I'm not sure exactly what everybody's wanting here, but what do you think they want?
The feedback that I've gotten from people who've watched both my short film and my feature has been very positive, and both non-believer and believer alike, which is kind of interesting. A lot of younger believers, I think there's definitely a marketplace for the types of Christian films that are being made right now because they're making money. Right. So there's obvious a market for it. However, just like Hollywood doesn't make just one specific film for one specific demographic, right. I think that hopefully we're seeing kind of the beginnings of the Christian film industry branching out into new demographics and reaching out to a younger generation is where I'm hoping we're heading.
Right, true, because actually the folks that I'm talking to that don't seem to like Christian films are more the millennials who just can't seem to relate to movies where everybody's, we're nice, where it's the Leave It to Beaver family kind of a thing. I tend to call them dog and pony movies, because it used to be that you put a dog and a pony in a movie and, you've got great success. But that doesn't seem to be resonating anymore with the millennials and the younger generation. So I understand that. So you're making different kind of films. Then your first one was a short film, which I do have, by the way. I've seen it. We do carry it on Parables, and it was a bit scary, if you will. Do you think that's pretty much the genre that you're going to be going into exclusively, or?
Well, I experimented with the feature as a sci-fi. I really, really love sci-fi. The thing that is always disheartening about sci-fi is just that it's very dominated, just like all the other genres in Hollywood, by atheists. And so you end up with a lot of messages that I feel like sci-fi is one of the few genres where people are open to talking about existential type discussions. And so you can be entertaining, but also have discussions about God and the existence of how the universe came about and all these different things. And so I experimented with science fiction. So I don't know if I'm really going to fall into one specific genre or not. I actually am not a huge horror fan personally. I like thrillers because horrors are a lot more. I like movies that think, that make you think, that have kind of a broader idea behind them is kind of my. So anything that has that kind of premise, I think I would definitely be on board for.
Right. So, well, I think the other perhaps genre that would fit into that would be suspense. So there's thriller, there's suspense. That might be something for you to look into, right?
Say that again. I'm sorry. I didn't hear you.
Suspense? Would that be like another genre,
definitely.
suspense? Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to take a quick little break right now, and we'll come back because I want to talk about something that you did that has made me very jealous. So we'll find out what that is when we come back, folks. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Cell reproduction, more than duplication. It's careful selection and organization, ensuring the perfect balance for development and growth. Powerful, so is our programming. Parables, the leader in empowering entertainment. Parables. Be empowered. Start your free trial today.
Sight and Sound Theaters invites you to experience one of the most powerful Bible stories ever told.
Samson, you're going to deliver our people from the Philistines.
God gave him the strength to fight thousands.
Where does he get his strength from? Nobody's that strong.
But his greatest challenge will be living with his own choices.
Who are you?
Delilah.
We want you to find out the secret of his strength.
We will destroy Samson.
Playing in Branson for one last encore season. Get ready for a mighty adventure for the whole family.
You are my rock and my strength. Be with me today.
Samson, live on stage at Sight and Sound Theaters in Branson, Missouri.
I wonder how long a dolphin lives. I wonder if they can make cookies in space. I wonder when people started brushing their teeth. I wonder if people and dinosaurs ever lived together.
Want to find out?
I wonder how much a cloud weighs.
Welcome back to Faith on Film. We're here with filmmaker Chris Florence. Chris, I mentioned something in the previous segment of something that you worked on that I was rather jealous of. And that is, of course, that you got a chance to work. I don't know what you did. I don't know what the project was. You'll tell us right now. But you got a chance to work with Hannity, who I am a huge fan of. What was that about?
right now we're working with a producer to film a documentary. It's kind of a biopic, I guess you could say. And we had to interview Sean Hannity for it. It's called Extortion 17. It's one of the many projects I'm working on this year, and it's not actually my project. This is a project where I've been brought in as I'm first AD, but in the case of the Sean Hannity, I was director for that particular interview. Yeah.
Wow, you got to tell me more. What was that like, man?
He had more bodyguards than the president, I think.
Really? Well,
he
I
had
got
a lot of bodyguards, and
yeah,
it was very interesting to kind of see them just scan the area and that kind of thing. And it was at a hotel. I got a phone call from Jean Winger, and she's like, "Hey, do you want to interview Sean Hannity?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so she says, "Well, he's going to be down in Naples. So can you go down there?" It was like about a 3-hour drive. I grabbed my DP and we loaded up the car and we headed down there. And it was a really, really cool experience. He was a very down to earth kind of guy, and had a real big heart for basically it's wounded veterans or actually, excuse me, it's the Gold Star program where veterans who are killed in action, they help take care of their families and stuff. So it's like a program of after kind of a situation with grieving and that kind of thing. So,
well, I'm very excited for you, man. That would have been something I would have loved to have done, but it wasn't in the cards for me. It was for you. Now, you sent me a list of like a whole lot of stuff that you're working on, whether it be that they're your projects or you're working with somebody else there. But for instance, you're working with Marty Jean Lewis on 3 projects for his 24 flicks. What projects are we talking about? Is it feature films, documentaries?
He's wanted to kind of dabble in some more shorter form type storytelling. So he's basically hired me to produce. Well, he's producing it, but I'm part of the pre-production process of writing it, and I've got a couple of other writers that are also helping out. So it'll be 3 projects, and there's not a whole lot to talk about now just because we're really early in pre-production, but Marty is now looking through the 6 stories that we sent him, and he's going to pick 3 of the 6, and then we're going to start writing our script and moving forward with those 3 projects. But they'll be unique content for original content for his platform.
Right. Now, I see one here that you sent it to me, so maybe I'll just mention it, but I know you said you can't really talk much about it, but it's a project with Cameron Arnett.
Yes.
Is it okay to say that? Because I already did anyway, but is it all right to say you're working on a project with Cameron Arnett?
I think so.
You just can't tell us what project. That's all right. Cameron, of course, is currently on a movie. Let me see. This show will come out. I think by when this show comes out, it's still a week or so away before the movie comes out, and that's a movie from the Kendricks brother, Overcomer. So that's great that you hopefully are going to get a chance to work with him on something. He's a good friend of mine, a fantastic guy.
Yes, he is. Yep.
You're going to be working with foreign filmmakers in Sweden and Canada?
Yes, that's a documentary about abortion is what we're going to be doing that on, and what we're going to do is we're going to collaborate with different filmmakers all over the world, and we're going to talk about how abortion is impacting their particular culture. So I wanted to get more of a macro view of some of the systemic problems that we're facing in abortion. And along with those interviews that we'll be doing all over the world, there will be these fully fictional kind of stories that highlight some of the problems. And so the story that I'm going to be doing is a science fiction story about the future, and so they're very, very fictional. So they're not based on any kind of true story. So I thought, could we mix interviews with 100% narrative where the sky's the limit kind of a thing? And so that's what we're attempting to do.
Well, if you could tell a Christian filmmaker right now one thing, what would that be?
I would say, don't wait for money. Everybody is waiting for money.
Yes.
I did my entire feature film of Forward with barely any money out of pocket. It was a 2-man crew. And we got it all completely done. I had maybe one other person involved in post-production, and I paid him a little bit of money for some VFX type work. So I would say that as long as you're willing to learn and as long as you're willing to spend some of your own money, you can make something. So I would just say get out there and make something. Don't wait for someone to give you permission to make something by giving you money. That's what I would say.
I think that's very good advice. I know filmmakers that have been waiting for years to make their first film, and it's because they're waiting for that big budget. They have this movie and they think they need $10 million to make it, and it's very difficult to get $10 million as a first filmmaker. Just get out there and do something and kind of get the ball rolling, if you will.
Yep.
Well, how can people get a hold of you if they want to just find out more of what you're doing and maybe write you an email or something and encourage you? What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Well, you could go to my website, which is norsepictures.com, and or you can email me at Chris, CHRIS, at norsepictures.com. I'm always willing to hop on the phone with anybody. So if you reach out to me and you want to get on the phone, I'll give you my phone number. I want to be very open and approachable and help whoever I can that's kind of on this journey. I feel like we're kind of all in this together.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's going to take an army of filmmakers to do what's necessary to really push back the darkness that Hollywood keeps pumping out. So yeah.
Well, that's terrific, folks. I encourage you to search him out, go to his website, write him, even just to let him know you're praying for him. And if you need some advice, if you're a filmmaker and need a little advice, reach out to him. Chris, thank you so much. It's been terrific having you on, and we look forward to seeing all those projects that you're working on.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on.
You bet. We'll be right back.
Have you ever considered being an actor or director of a major feature film? Sounds crazy, right? But what if God is calling you to do just that? To use your gift in a non-traditional way, like redemptive filmmaking. Let this be your pulpit. So what are you waiting for? Call now. This could be the spark that ignites your ministry.
Christian filmmaking. Our operators are standing by right now. 469-655-3222. Remember to visit our website at www.transformfilm.com.
And you learn filmmaking on 2 backlots, a first-century backlot and a small-town backlot under the watchful eyes of Christian professional filmmakers and university film school professors like Dr. Mark Kuchin. So what are you waiting for?
469-655-3222. Transformation Film Institute, a place where passion meets purpose.
This summer, come to Orlando and bring your family to the Holy Land experience, where the true heroes live. See with your own eyes the stories of the Bible come to life as you have never seen them before. Through breathtaking live stage musical productions, you and your family will encounter the true heroes of our history. Make memorable moments this summer at Orlando's premier family vacation destination, the Holy Land Experience, where the true heroes live.
Welcome back to Faith on Film, and again, I'm excited to bring you another edition of Holly on Hollywood. Holly, how are you?
Isaac, great to be with you on Faith on Film. I love when we do our segments together.
I know. We may end up just having to do an entire show together.
We do. It goes so fast.
I know. Now, of course, your I was going to say your shtick, but that doesn't sound right. What you do is you really give reviews on Hollywood movies. But today we're going to talk about a different movie, and I say different because it's actually a faith-based movie, not a Hollywood-produced movie, yet it is a Hollywood released movie because it gets released by Sony, and that is, of course, I believe, what is it, fifth or sixth movie by the Kendrick brothers, who, of course, their first one that came out in a major way theatrically was Facing the Giants. Then they did Courageous and Fireproof, Courageous, War Room, and now they're coming out with a new one called Overcomer.
Right.
Is there anything you can tell me about it?
Well, let's do a little background too, okay? Because Alex Kendrick was an associate pastor with his brother at the church, Sherwood Baptist Church, and he was an associate pastor about 2014, and then they made a little film that they kind of took around, and that did okay, but a Flywheel. But then they made Facing the Giants. I met Alex at the Gaylord Hotel in Dallas when he was there for an NRB convention. I'll never forget him coming up and saying, "Hey, I know you're a movie critic, and would you take a look at my movie?" And I'm like, "Well, okay, we're kind of in a convention." And he goes, "I know, but can I just show it to you?" So we went in, we sat down. It was in a back of a restaurant, actually, in the bar area, but back there where they had a big screen TV. And Alex had convinced the guy to let him show us the movie. And we started, and there's what they call the death crawl in the movie of Facing the Giants. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you've got to watch the movie because it is. I can't even put words into how impactful that scene is. After that impactful, I looked at Paul Crouch and I went, or Paul Crouch Jr. and I went, and he goes, "Yeah, this is it. We're sold." And so we watched the rest, and TBN really promoted that movie a lot. I mean, they really helped Alex and Stephen, his brother, promote that. And that one year he's at NRB, going around asking people to watch his films. And next year he's the keynote speaker. He's winning awards. He's like, his fame shot up. So, but he's a good person, and so is Stephen. They're great guys, and what they have done from Facing the Giants to Fireproof to Courageous to War Room. War Room was the #1 box office in its second week. The #1 box office. That was at a major movie theater in its second week. So that's how good their films had become. Priscilla Shire, starred in it, which of course was a big draw. And so now Overcomer is the same thing. And it's basically about a small town, and, there was a manufacturing plant that shuts down, so people are moving away. And the coach, which is Alex Kendrick, he stars in his own movies as well, and he directs them. So he's got a hard job. He decides to coach track, running. And so it's not really his thing. I think it's not really what he wants to do, but he has to do it. And this girl comes along, lo and behold, and he starts to train her and then realize, wow, she's got a talent. And so it changes around. This is a movie for adults and for teens and students. So it's not just dealing with adult issues. This is going to be a movie that I think, mature kids, some 9 and 10-year-olds are mature enough to watch this and want to see it on up. And as always, they have a message and a theme in there, and so it's going to have a faith-based message. But they do it so well. You don't feel like you're being preached to, even though they kind of do. You just it's good. It works in the script. Don't you agree?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And I think the message on this one is identity, and they're going to be dealing with who we are is our identity. So yeah, you know what? Their movies, one interesting thing about their movies is they tend to really become great tools for churches to use even in their messages. And I'm assuming this one will be the same thing, I
agree. And that's what I think, and also Priscilla Shire, okay, she's very well known and popular, and so I'm sure having her do her speaking and talk about how she's in this new film, and she loves to do the acting thing, doesn't hurt either. But honestly, they've really diversified their crowd. They've diversified their audience, which you've got to hand it to them. And with everyone, remember in the first, Isaac, remember their first film when the church literally volunteered all the actors, all the people, they even made their food. Yeah. Everything was donated, everything was given, and it kind of felt like that. That's why Facing the Giants at first we were like, oh, it's so small towns, but the story was so good. Well, with each film, they got better and got more money and got better and got more money. And so now, I mean, I'm telling you, I would put Alex and Stephen Kendrick's films against any film that comes out.
Again, how can people reach you and read your reviews of Hollywood movies?
Well, find me on Facebook, Holly on Hollywood on Facebook. And I love to have people come on and see what I'm doing and post my reviews there. I also have a Holly on Hollywood on Vimeo if you want to see my reviews on there on the Vimeo site. And I can be found on thelaundrymoms.com. So if you want to find my reviews weekly every Friday, I'm featured on thelaundrymoms.com, which is a great blog site. So you can get in touch with me or email me through one of those venues, and I'd love to hear from you.
Fantastic.
And you want me to say what I always
Close
say?
off the segment.
Here's my mantra. Remember to choose your movies wisely.
Thank you, Holly. We'll be right back.
I never realized how much work goes into taking care of horses.
You think that's hard? Try taking care of thousands of animals at the same time.
Go ahead. Think bigger.
Cell reproduction, more than duplication. It's careful selection and organization, ensuring the perfect balance for development and growth. Powerful, so is our programming. Parables, the leader in empowering entertainment. Parables. Be empowered. Start your free trial today.
I wonder how long a dolphin lives. I wonder if they can make cookies in space. I wonder when people started brushing our teeth. I wonder if people and dinosaurs ever lived together.
Want to find out?
I wonder how much a cloud weighs.
Welcome back to Faith on Film. I want to thank you for joining us for today's program, and a big thank you to Chris for taking the time to come and share his story of how he got involved in faith-based films. Also hope you enjoyed that segment, Holly on Hollywood. Today we talked about a movie that is releasing this August 23rd. That's Overcomer, August 23rd in theaters across the nation. Also want to really invite you to do something for me, and that is to write me. Write me an email. Let me know that you're there. Let me know that you're watching the program. Tell me if you like the program. Tell me if you don't like the program. Either way, I really want to hear from you. So just write me. Very simple. It's faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. That's faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. And of course, you can always follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Faith on Film TV. That's Faith on Film TV. So until next week, remember, if you want to maintain a healthy soul, ingest some good, healthy entertainment. So until next week, take care.